Well, happy Sunday to everybody out there, including you, my good buddy Brandon. How are things today?
I'm good, man. I'm very good. I'm excited to get on today. It's Sunday. It's awesome. Great to see all of you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And good morning, Melissa up there. Actually, it's already afternoon, I think, for Melissa up there in far east New Brunswick, Canada. Our good friend Melissa and Road to Awesome author. So Brandon, as we kind of pay attention to things on social media over the course of this week, one of the things I was noticing is so many schools, I know you're not one of them, but so many schools are back in session, week 2, week 3, week 4 already for some people. The month of August is getting ready to I guess, go away, get ready to be done. It's pretty crazy. What are some things? I know you just did an event to help kick off a sports season for a school. Let's talk about that for a sec.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to be out there, and schools are getting back in. I'm starting my own personal school next week and getting back in, but I've been having some awesome opportunities to get out and speak to all different types of educators. At the beginning of the summer, I was speaking at summer camps to people who are going to be, living with kids or students or campers, for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And that was really amazing. And then, recently I've had the opportunity to speak to some sports teams and some preseason sports leadership rallies, and started that. They had something awesome the other day in a school here in New York, and about 250 athletes. And when I tell you, it was so inspiring because the energy that these kids brought, they were so excited to be back and be able to have some of these team building, full on in-person experiences. So that was incredible. And then tomorrow back at it again, heading to Long Island, New York, and conducting 3 workshops over a whole day that I'm super pumped with to work with those educators out there. But as you know, it's exciting to see that people are coming back around. Things are starting to get to a place where we're really using all the awesome things we've used in the past to make us better for the future. And that to me is what makes me really excited.
Yeah, for sure. Just this week alone, I booked 2 new events. And now we're starting to book, into the future. I booked an event in March, actually, in your home state in New York. An event in January, in February in my home state of Wyoming. It's just, the phone calls are starting to come. I think more and more people are feeling like, hey, let's get those inspiring messages in front of our teachers. They need to hear some positive words. we've moved past, hopefully, knock on wood, we've moved past we've got to be worried about quarantines and masks and all this other stuff. And now we can start focusing on professional learning and, putting those words of encouragement in front of our educators. I mean, they've got a tough task. They really do. And for them to hear, some positive and inspiring words. I've had a chance, obviously, to be in a handful of schools, a couple handfuls of schools here during the month of August. And it's been inspiring for me to hear from some of those educators and just hear how so many of them have talked about, wanting to move past this, the finger pointing and the blame and let's rally together. Let's solve this together. The white knight, on a shiny white horse, the knight on a white horse is not charging through the door to save education. We as educators have to save education. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people right now, which I really appreciate. I think it's something that if we are going to move forward, if we're going to be real positive with education, it's got to come from within. We can't wait for somebody on the outside to fix it for us. So definitely exciting to hear some of the great things happening in schools around the country and to have those opportunities to speak with educators.
Yeah.
And today we actually have one of those inspiring educators joining us. You and I were talking earlier this week that we're going to continue to go live every week and just have some conversations, whether it's about goals or it's about, what's happening in education. I mean, that kind of stuff. Obviously, we could share some information about the work that we do coaching educators, coaching some non-educators as well, in the business space or in, the work they want to do for launching a side hustle or a speaking career or whatever the case may be. But more importantly, as you and I continue to go live once a week, we want to make sure that we're bringing some of those inspiring stories to people. One of the great things about us being able to go live and about, so many other, individuals and groups that go live is it's like free professional development. It's like our buddy Josh Tovar, with Unlock the Middle talks about. It's free PD right there at your fingertips. So, here's some free PD for you right at your fingertips today with the person that we're getting ready to bring on to the show. Let you talk for just a second, then we'll bring her on.
Yeah, no, the perfect transition. As we're talking about the beginning of the school year ahead, going from a lot of educators out there that may be going from a different kind of schedule. What we're seeing now is a lot of those limitations, a lot of those fears, a lot of those stressors that are getting in the way of you doing the job that you love. And once you realize that you need to get to believing and doing the great work that you're doing with students by serving others, once you realize that, get all those limitations out of the way, it's time to plan. It's time to schedule. And if you say something, you have to say it to the world. You have to tell people that this is what you're going after. Then you got to plan it, and then you got to schedule it. So we're going to talk about today just the perfect person for that. And she has her own upkeeping system, her own way to keep track of habits and goals and day-to-day routines, the elevate your vibe. It is an awesome action planning kit, an action planning tool. Here she is, Lisa Toebben. Lisa, welcome to, what is this, a show? Welcome to this.
I don't know, whatever it is, yeah.
Sunday chats. How are you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Doing great, Lisa. How are you today?
I am fantastic. I am feeling so good right now, like just mentally and physically, and I feel like it's been a while since I've been in this type of headspace, and just feeling that feeling of being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there is just like I can't even explain the feeling. Like I have a new role in public education this year, and last week was our first week of, I think second week of work, but first week with teachers and students in the building, and it's been beyond great.
Talk a little bit more about what that role is. I know I'm super excited for you. I know for people who didn't know this, Lisa previously was a special education classroom teacher, but now you've kind of taken on kind of an administrative role.
So my whole education career has been in special education. I started in the elementary school, and then I spent some time in the middle school, and then I ended up in the high school. So being in the same district through almost all of those years, I've had this opportunity to see kids in the elementary school, again in the middle school, and then watch them and be there when they walked across the stage. And that alone has been absolutely amazing, just seeing their growth and and working in the community that I live in. Now I'm seeing them working, like I'm seeing them hold jobs. I'm running into them at Walmart when they're on the job. It's truly amazing. So this year I am a coach, instructional coach, mentor for our first and second year new to special education teachers. And when we've had like some stress outs, like about halfway through the week, it's like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into with some of these teachers? But almost all of them I can see myself in during that stage of my career. So one thing that I really hope for myself is that I never lose sight of what it feels like to be a special education teacher in the classroom. So that's just one thing. Like, it's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's really that moment to see things come from fruition and from beginning to end, and being able to connect with kids in other areas and other parts of the community is also like really incredible. And it, just like everybody, you're experiencing that beginning of the year rush, that energy that is super excited, that is has a lot of things on your plate, has a lot of things that you're able to do. And obviously we brought you on this show because it's really amazing to see how you created this kind of book to journal, to activity journal, to whatever you want to kind of play it as and call it as. It's basically a way to set up your life on the day-to-day and for long-term planning. So obviously that's got to be helping you a little bit as you're experiencing some of this anxiety that with all these things that are happening. It's a great time of year to really focus in on planning, because we all know educators' new year is not January 1. Educator new year starts on the first day of school. So talk a little bit about how you're using your planner, and talk a little bit about some of the things behind that. And I think actually that's really critical, because I think a lot of our listeners, a lot of our people out there have a lot of those things flying around their brain right now.
So my philosophy is, and right or wrong, I cannot feel truly balanced. And I know, we hear work-life balance. What is that? Can you really fully achieve that? For me, the work-life balance comes in when I'm doing things that make me feel good. That's how I feel the most balanced. I really don't think you can have a work-life balance until you're doing things that make you feel good. And for me, that's my morning routine. Like, if I have a solid morning routine, that's going to just set me up. And this right here, this is kind of like my security blanket, where all of my anxiety kind of goes. So when I'm starting to feel, oh my gosh, I got all this to do, that's when this comes into play. So actually, I've been doing a plan with me live on Instagram. So just, because when I'm working through it, I'm working out loud anyways. So we might as well just be real on Instagram to, get the tool out there for somebody that might use it. So what's super cool about this system is it's so tailored to customize it for whatever stage that you're in, or with whatever you're working on or want to work through. So this summer I was using it as my fitness tracker, because I didn't really need to be as structured. I knew that my mind, body, and spirit just kind of needed a break from the grind in school. I mean, let's be honest, the past few years they've been a lot. So, this summer was definitely new for me to take that step back and all of that. So I used it for that. now with school starting up, it's literally my personal assistant. So I have a Google Calendar because now I'm having to do like the digital planning for school because I'm working with so many teachers in so many buildings. I just gave them access to my Google Calendar so they can schedule when they want me to come in, or if they have something that they want me to help them with or help them work through or co-teach with or just anything like that. It just makes it easier if they just have access to my Google Calendar. So so I have that going, and then this. So first thing that I do is say I got a work in progress for, and there's nothing Pinterest perfect about this. I think that's where some people get intimidated because they're online and they see like this perfection, like bullet journal. No, I can't do that to make it functional. So I have my working list going of the things that I think I need to do, or just like really just anything. So I have that going already for this week. And then I have like the one thing that I want to do this week to make myself proud off that spinning off of your guys' course where you write down those things that you want to do. So I kind of like went through to try to benchmark some things that might build on other things. So I have my one thing this week that is going to make myself proud. I have my I am statement right now I'm doing my I am statements as I like throughout the week instead of just doing them one day, like on Sundays doing I am statements. I'm doing them throughout the week just, to keep my mind in that right spot. Because when you're doing things that are working towards your goals, that's when that self-doubt comes in. So right now, my I am statement, I am creating tools that make a positive impact on others. So that's, if I can keep that in my head and see that all the time, that yes, I'm creating things that are making a positive impact, then that's going to help me take action on that goal that, I have that little bit of self-doubt in, or, like, what if, those kinds of things that come in. So that's how I do that. And then I get my little Google Calendar going. And let me tell you, Google Calendar and those dots in the day can stress you out like no other. It's like, oh my gosh, I got like 5 dots right there. Like, I'm going to be so busy, I'm not going to be able to breathe. But when I map it out like on my planner and my time block, it's really not that much. It's not as much as what Google Calendar tells me it's going to be. So I have my week started. It's not finished yet, but I have my Monday ready to go. So I already have like a plan going. So I know I have a meeting at 8:30. Like this right here is my work day. I've blocked out my work day. I have a meeting at 8:30 and then another one at 10:30. And then here's my time where I can schedule it how I see fit for whatever it is that I want to do. Maybe it's getting into teachers' classrooms, talking with teachers, getting that face-to-face. And then from there I can see, okay, well, this extra thing that I want to do, what can I do today? Because I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling overly stressed. What can I do today to get me closer to my goal for the week? So I set like a monthly goal, like a big picture type goal. And then each week is kind of like benchmarked out. What's that one thing I can do today that's going to help me get to that monthly goal? Or this week, because we all know some days there's way more on our plates than other days. But if I can look at my week to see where my time is going, that's when I can be like, okay, well, this day I don't have quite as much going on. So I'm going to sit down or go do the thing or whatever it is. So that's kind of what I do. And then the end of the week reflection is actually one of my favorite things, because I think it was last week I was sitting down and like, the first question is, what did you accomplish this week? And I'm like sitting here thinking, I don't think I accomplished anything this week. When I really dug deep and thought about it, I did. Like I started a brand new routine with a brand new schedule. I mean, it really wasn't, I guess, a brand new routine, but just trying to get myself in school routine versus summer routine where it's a lot more lax. Like it's hard getting into routine. So that was like that one big thing that I accomplished, because that's a big deal. Another thing that's super cool about the planner is at the end of each week, you have a blank page to do with whatever you want to. So sometimes I use that page to just jot down ideas that just come to my head, or a quote that I hear. Or if I'm listening to a podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to remember that. I might write that down here. Right now, I'm using it as my fitness tracker for like the days that I want to train, and then my meals, because if I have a solid plan for what we're busy, like I have kids right now that are doing sports. We're like at that stage where I'm spending more time in my car in the evenings running, and it's like air traffic control trying to figure out drop-offs and pickups after school. So if I have a good idea of what the meals are going to be, that keeps us out of the drive-through, that keeps everybody feeling good. It's and just those quick, easy meals. I have a grocery list, so I'm saving money right there, because now I have a list to go off that's actually going to go in the meals that I'm going to make. So that's how I'm using it right now. So as we get in and I like get in my groove where like stuff comes naturally, that's usually when I kind of tweak how I'm using the planner. But I think the thing is too, like the most important thing, because I'm 100% guilty of this, is setting unrealistic expectations for myself. And I feel like this planner has really helped me set more realistic expectations, especially with the time blocking. Because before I'd have like this post-it, and I mean, I think all teachers can relate to this, because I don't think you feel truly caught up until the last day of school when everything's turned in. So I would have like this post of all this stuff that I wanted to get done during my prep time, and then technology, I'd have a technology issue, or trying to figure out how to create something, and then all my time's gone and I got one thing crossed off my list, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, then the anxiety goes up. So I really feel like if you can time block, it helps you set a realistic expectation, because one, I only have a little bitty spot to write something down right there. I can't make a list of like 20. So that's how I'm using this right now.
It's super exciting. I mean, the thing that I think, I think the thing that intrigued us the most about this project was that you could do so many things with it. I mean, the way that you put this planner together is, I mean, you summarized it, really well there. You could use it for a fitness track. You could, use it to track your meals, plan your day. Obviously having the weekly pieces in there. One of the coolest little stories about this planner, I'll tell you, when we completed this, before we actually published it, we got a couple of demonstration, like test samples. One that we wanted to send to Lisa to make sure she was good with, and one that we wanted to have here, here at the home office of Road to Awesome. Well, obviously, Lisa was like, "Yep, let's go. This is awesome." Our daughter grabbed that sample and said, "Mine," and she has already used it up. I know she's on to another one. Along with a whole lot of other people I know that are using it. So it's a really great resource. Lisa, let's go into something. You hit on this a couple of times, but I want to kind of tie what you just talked about with the coaching element, because you hit coaching. Not only are you coaching teachers, but I know you have been an advocate for your own coaching, doing your own coaching, having a coach, that kind of thing. Talk just briefly, if you can, about what you're seeing, or what you hope your teachers are seeing in the value of having a coach, and then maybe where you see value in coaching for the stuff you do and how you coach others.
I think it's what I've seen this week, just with the teachers that I've worked with, is just that extra support. Okay, like a coach, in my mind, a coach isn't somebody that's going to tell you what to do. Like, here's your list. Like, I'm not a micromanager. Like, that's not my job. That's not my personality. But what a coach does is meet you where you're at, listen to where you want to go, and give you that support that you need to get there. And sometimes it's just that affirmation. Yes, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do to help people have that self-confidence to keep going. Like, I think that's a huge thing. Like, when we're trying something new, we are so unsure of ourselves. And with each step, that's where you get your confidence. And I'll tell you, one of the new teachers, I really tried hard to get into as many classrooms as I could that first day of school, but like it's just not possible. So at the end of the day, I was very blessed to be where I was at the end of the day, because school was out. The teacher, like some of the new teachers were talking about their day, and one of the brand new special education teachers says, wow, it's crazy how much confidence you can get after the first day of school. I'm like, yes, because you hear it, you know, you're getting all of this direction, but you don't know until you dive in, you know, because that action just, it gives you clarity
And I think
and
that
confidence.
your ability to recognize that is what always comes to essential part of, you know, why you're doing all of this. I mean, all of this stuff is coming into fruition, and you're spending a lot of time on it in your life because you kind of you have become an expert in the area. And I think that that's really what's amazing about all of this. And as I'm sitting here and hearing you talk about this book, the journal, elevate your vibe. Give me the word. What would be one word you would describe it? Activity planner, journal, goals,
Action planning with purpose.
planning. All right, perfect.
Planning with purpose.
All right,
You know,
I love that.
Like, yeah, because I think too, you know, when I sit back and listen to moms, yes, they have their planner because that's their air traffic control system of getting everybody where they need to go and all of this stuff. But this kind of takes it another step further. And okay, mom or dad or, you know, whoever, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
So you can keep that going for everybody else.
Absolutely. And I see so many similarities because obviously there is no secret ingredient to setting goals. There is no perfect map that's going to work out there for anybody. And what the way you've designed yours is so that anybody can use it how they feel that is important. And that's the same way that we kind of have created our courses. And I know that you just walked through one of our coaching courses and the free course, and you reached out to us, and we were super excited to hear your feedback. And so I'm sure you see a lot of similarities in the flow, and that could help you in your organization journey as well. But talk a little bit about the course that you had the opportunity to take, Accelerating Goals into Action.
Okay, so I took the course and I absolutely loved like the thought process and the workbook, the PDF that went with it, because it makes you think. Because like for me, I'll have like this goal way up here, but then like I have a whole bunch of other goals too, or things that I want to do, and it's really just mapping it out to figure out where you're at and where you need to go, because I might actually be like down here, but then where I start is up here, and then I find myself having to backtrack back down to fill in those steps to get back up here, because we all see this and then we get frustrated because we're here, and this part is hard to see. And with that, like there was a section that said like write down three things that you want to accomplish. Well, I wrote down 9, and so here I am. Okay, I can't start all of these at one time, because that's been my habit. It's just okay, we're just going to start a bunch of things at one time, and then nothing gets fully done, and then it's just like, now what? Now I'm overwhelmed. Now I don't even know what to do. So it's figuring out, okay, well, what's top priority on these 9 things or 3 things that need to come first, because a lot of times that one thing will set you up for the next thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing. So that's what I like, because it really got me thinking, okay, Lisa, what is it that you really want to do? Like, what is the most important on this list of all the things? So, and I like your sequel.
I think,
like, I'm excited to dive into your sequel course.
Yeah, well, we're excited about the sequel course as well. With this initial course, that's really what we were trying to get at, exactly what you just said, and that is identifying the one thing. Because you're right, we all have this wide scope of, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. So many of the clients that Brandon and I coach now, that's where they began. with, all of this, oh my gosh, I want to do this and this and this and this and this. And our job is to help funnel them down to, but they have to do the work. What is that one thing that if I do this, that takes care of all the rest of that? And that comes right from Gary Keller with the one thing, but it's an essential step, and it's just one step. And it definitely scaffolds itself into that next course, which is Open Road Accelerate. That's a really great course. It's 4 parts. It takes you from identifying the one thing to then really starting to put that plan together. Brandon, real quick, you want to hit Inspire, Launch, or Inspire, Connect, and Launch, which are the pieces that are going to get you there.
Yeah, no, we're going to be, that's the beautiful thing about the next phase of that course. And I'm seeing it too. And it's related to what you've been doing. You start with that one thing, and then you talk about that reflection. And what I love about the Elevate Your Vibe planner is you also celebrate the wins every single day. And we all too often don't do that. So the Inspire, Connect, Grow, the Inspire, Connect, Launch action plan, I actually have a beautiful copy of it sitting right here. It looks like this, Darren. There's a little sneak peek, right? That's the big thing that comes out later on. And that's the methodology that we use to grow our goals. And basically you start with that one thing. And then when you have that one thing, we walk you through some questions that help you connect that purpose so that you have a goal that's connected to a purpose. Most importantly, what will happen if you do not complete this goal? That's something that's really important to consider, because certain goals have really, really high risk and certain goals have low risk. But if they don't get accomplished, they're not going to positively impact your self-confidence, because you set out to do something, it didn't happen the way you wanted. You may have the energy to revise and keep going and change it, and you should, because that not every single goal gets accomplished in one try, and things change, and that's okay. And then finally launch it, then your action plan. So we're right there with you in that whole idea of planning. Making sure that you plan your steps along the way is great, but also take a moment to connect that purpose to that one thing and just take that one thing through the process. I think that that's, really aligned to a lot of the things that's going on in the Elevate Your Vibe planner too. So it's been really great for you to share your experience, because to me, I think you're one of the gurus of the planning, because you actually have the activity kit to show it. So I'm really, really proud to hear that, and can't wait for you to go through the rest of the course and check that out.
I think too, too often we discredit those small wins because we're like, it was just little. When really, in fact, those small things compound to being so huge over time. And we all get impatient in the process. And I will tell you, since I started going to the gym about a year ago. I was a basement exercise person for 4 years, and then I was a runner. But the gym has taught me the most about myself, and you can't achieve what you want to achieve overnight. It's not going to happen in 6 weeks. It's literally that consistency and those small steps over time that get you where you want to go.
Well, I really appreciate that. I think that's absolutely it is 100%. 100%. Lisa, thanks so much for coming on the show with us today. We look forward to seeing you in that next course, and good luck in the new role. I know you're going to crush that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have an awesome time. Good luck this year.
Thank you. You too.
So let's maybe transition into some final thoughts. I have one final thought based on something that Lisa said, and if you're good with it, I'm going to go first on this. Lisa mentioned as she was going through talking about the work-life balance, and this week I did a handful of podcast interviews for Leaning Into Leadership, and one of the people that I interviewed this week, Dr. Amy Matthews Perez, talked about the work-life balance, and Lisa talked about how, boy, it's almost impossible to have that equal balance. And Brandon, almost anytime somebody talks about work-life balance, you'll actually see them do this. It's like they go to the scales of justice. They have to be perfectly aligned. But what Dr. Matthews Perez said that I wanted to share with everybody is just something that we should all be thinking about. She said, think about balance, not in terms of balancing the scales, but rather balancing yourself. If you're on a tightrope and you're trying to walk across this tightrope or a balance beam, there are muscles constantly in your body that are firing and adjusting your balance. If you think about your work and your life balance in that perspective, that we're always kind of balancing them a little bit back and forth, not that it's I have to do 50 and 50 or 60 and 40. I think it gives us a whole lot better opportunity to achieve in our own minds work-life balance. We just have to think about it a little bit different. And I just thought it was such a great gem. Her podcast probably won't drop for another month, but I really wanted to share it based on what Lisa had just said. So that's my final thought.
Yeah, and I'll go back to what I was saying before. All of the things that were happening, no matter in the Elevate Your Vibe planner or the online course or wherever it is that you're setting up goals to be accomplished in your life, it all starts with that one thing. And then it requires that bit of reflection. And then you get to celebrate the wins. But these all have to become and be a part of who you are because they come from your values. So your goals also say a lot about who you are and who you're willing to become. And I think that that's really critical here when we look at goal setting, is that that's the one thing standing in the way of you becoming who you want to become and who you want to be for the people around you. And I think that that's really critical. So I hope that everybody out there is continuing to crush goals. And if you are looking to have some support, have some coach, have some guidance, have some friends on the journey along with you, we're right here. Check out that link at the bottom. Jump on the free course. Put your toe in the water. Just give it a try. We're happy to listen to you, give you some feedback, whatever it is. Just get on there and follow up and take that course, because it's free and it's an opportunity for you to see what we believe is a way to get you to where you want to go.
There you go. All right, everybody get out there. Have a road to awesome week. We'll catch you next weekend.
Take care, everyone.